All right, let's dive right into this explainer and crack open what is literally the ultimate cold case file of human history. I mean, we've all seen the epic depictions, right? From Disney's animated adventures to Jason Momoa wielding a giant trident as Aquaman. Atlantis is one of those names that just sparks instant fascination. It totally dominates pop culture and fuels endless debate. But today, we're stripping away all that Hollywood polish. We're going to dig deep into the original source material and the historical data to finally answer the big question. Is this famous lost civilization a grounded historical fact or purely a piece of fiction?
So did a wildly advanced civilization actually just disappear beneath the waves thousands of years ago? Or is the whole thing nothing more than an ancient legend? That is the exact tension we're trying to resolve today. We're going to systematically separate the really grandiose, world-shaking claims from the hard, objective facts. You know, we've all heard those captivating stories of this magnificent, highly advanced society just vanishing into the sea in a single day and night of catastrophic misfortune. It's an absolutely incredible narrative. But as focused learners, we need to bypass all the myth-making and see exactly what the evidence actually says.
Section 1. The Source, where the legend began.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The entire foundation of this massive global mystery traces back to exactly one place. And no, it's not some dusty archaeological dig. It is the writings of the Greek philosopher Plato. Just think about the gravity of that for a second. Every single movie, every book, every multi-million-dollar deep-sea expedition looking for this lost city, they all ultimately stem from just two philosophical dialogues, the Timaeus and the Critias, which were written way back around 360 BC. We aren't looking at some widespread historical record corroborated by multiple ancient civilizations like the Egyptians or the Babylonians. No, our primary foundational source begins and ends with Plato. And crucially, this is the key takeaway here. Plato wasn't writing a history book. He was constructing philosophical allegories about hubris, the corrupting nature of power, and his grand vision of the ideal state. Atlantis was essentially a thought experiment. It was just the fictional antagonist to his perfect version of ancient Athens.
Moving on to Section 2. Mapping the suspects. The global search.
Driven purely by some, let's say, wildly creative interpretations of Plato's accounts, searchers have frantically claimed to have found Atlantis literally all around the globe. Because the original source is so ancient and so open to interpretation, explorers, historians, and conspiracy theorists have stretched the clues to fit their own regional theories. It's led to this truly sprawling global search. Some point to the Mediterranean, linking the myth to the very real and absolutely devastating volcanic eruption that wiped out the Minoan civilization on the island of Santorini. Others, well, they've gone totally off the map, claiming the lost city is currently buried under a mile of solid ice in Antarctica. Back in the 1960s, people even thought a naturally occurring underwater rock formation in the Bahamas, the so-called Bimini Road, was the literal pavement of Atlantis. People haven't just looked in one isolated spot. They have projected their hopes onto almost every single body of water on Earth.
Section 3. The Interrogation, Science and Archaeology.
So, here's the problem. We are faced with this massive, awe-inspiring claim of an advanced sunken civilization, but it is directly contradicted by the stark reality of the archaeological evidence. Or actually, scratch that, the total lack of it. Despite centuries of that exhaustive global searching we were just talking about, the hard data is completely silent. Not a single authentic artifact, not a single submerged ruin, and not one verified piece of ancient architecture has ever been found that traces back to this legendary city. In the rigorous world of archaeology, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And for Atlantis, the evidence vault is completely 100% empty.
When we put the elements of the myth directly up against modern scientific data, the consensus acts as a massive reality check. Modern geology and oceanography have thoroughly, undeniably debunked the idea of a literal sunken continent. Look, we aren't sailing blind anymore. We have mapped the ocean floor using incredibly advanced sonar, satellites, and deep-sea submersibles. We have a crystal-clear understanding of tectonic plates. And the science tells us definitively that a massive, highly advanced landmass simply does not sink into the ocean without leaving a trace. There is absolutely no missing sunken continent sitting along the mid-Atlantic ridge where an empire could have suddenly collapsed. The geological record perfectly aligns with the archaeology here. The physical city just isn't there, because the Earth's crust doesn't just swallow entire continents whole overnight.
Which brings us to Section 4, the verdict, the enduring myth. So we have to ask ourselves, why are we all so obsessed with a place that never actually existed? If the science definitively closes the door on the physical city, why on earth does this legend survive today, thousands of years later? Well, it really comes down to the enduring human fascination with ancient legends, lost utopias, and unsolved mysteries. Human beings are just incredibly drawn to the romanticized tragedy of a perfect society lost to its own hubris. It's a cautionary tale that resonates deeply within us. Atlantis survives today not as a physical place mapped by science, but as a powerfully resonant psychological myth. It acts as a blank canvas for our deepest curiosities, basically allowing us to project our own modern hopes, fears, and technological fantasies onto the distant past.
Ultimately, the evidence brings us to one definitive conclusion. Atlantis is an ancient legend, not a sunken reality. We set out today to separate the grandiose claims from the hard facts. And honestly, the results leave no room for doubt. Plato created a brilliant philosophical thought experiment about the dangers of arrogance and the moral decay of an empire. He crafted a story so incredibly compelling, so rich with detail and imagination, that humanity literally mistook it for actual history for over 2,000 years. It is a profound testament to the sheer power of human storytelling, rather than some hidden chapter in our geological history.
As we close this case file on our explainer today, I really want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If a myth like Atlantis can survive for thousands of years, captivating minds across millennia based purely on the philosophical writings of one ancient thinker, what will future civilizations mythologize about us? Think about our modern structures, our stories, our warnings. It really makes you pause and consider our own legacy, doesn't it? And just the sheer impermanence of the world we live in today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.